The air inside the House Judiciary Committee felt like it could combust at any moment. It wasn't just tense, it was electric. Congressman Jim Jordan, his face flushed and jaw clenched, leaned into the mic like a man about to detonate. "You don't know what you're talking about! You're completely out of line!" he roared, his voice ricocheting through the stone chamber. Then came the fist, a thunderclap against the desk. Papers lifted off the table, drifting like startled birds. The cameras didn't blink. Every American watching saw his fury erupt in real time. But Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, not a twitch, not a blink. She sat, serene, hands folded, posture perfect. And then she leaned forward, slightly, deliberately. What she said next would fracture the internet. A single sentence that detonated across social feeds, newscasts, and political circles within minutes. By day's end, it wasn't just news, it was legend. Before we unpack this showdown that turned the political world on its head, smash that like button and subscribe. You won't want to miss what's coming, because this moment didn't just make headlines. It made history. Jim Jordan swaggered into that hearing like a general before battle. Chairman of the Judiciary Committee, the Republican bulldog from Ohio. For 15 years, he'd bulldozed Democrats with his bark and brawl style. Witnesses wilted, colleagues flinched, hearing rooms became his personal arena. No jacket, sleeves rolled, voice raised. He'd interrupt, dominate, and eviscerate. And today, he thought it would be business as usual. Enter Jasmine Crockett, young, black, female, a freshman from Texas, the very profile Jordan underestimated. But that was his first mistake. Crockett wasn't here to play defense. Born in St. Louis, forged in Texas courtrooms, law degree sharpened at the University of Houston, a civil rights attorney who'd stared down prosecutors and stared through prejudice. Washington had tried to clip her wings. Senior Democrats said, "Learn the ropes." Republicans saw her as an easy mark. What they didn't know, she'd memorized the playbook and rewritten it. The topic that day? Jordan's Grand Theater, the weaponization of federal government. A not-so-subtle attempt to bludgeon the Biden administration. Jordan had the home field. Advantage. Friendly media, tailored witnesses, talking points pre-leaked. He was ready to humiliate, but Crockett was ready too. The room was packed. C-SPAN live, journalists itching for fireworks. Phones hovered. Jordan banged the gavel at 10 sharp. His Republican squad looked smug. This would be a slaughter. And at first it was textbook Jordan. Loud, aggressive, interruptive, theatrics wrapped in procedural jargon. "This administration is criminal," he thundered. Democrats tried to speak. He cut them off with robotic precision. 5 minutes. Next question. No time for rebuttal. But in the shadows of that storm sat Crockett, quiet, focused, taking notes, observing, mapping his tells, like a seasoned litigator dissecting a hostile witness. Her time came, and she didn't flinch. Her first questions were deliberate, polished. She dissected witness credentials, traced funding, checked receipts, no fireworks, just focus. Jordan, clearly puzzled, leaned back. Was she intimidated? Playing safe? Oh no, she was setting the trap. Hour 2. Crockett's tone sharpened, still calm, still composed. But each question was a blade. "You've never worked for the DOJ?" she asked one witness. "You're not a lawyer? Your organization wants to dismantle the administrative state?" Each answer unraveled credibility. Each fact shredded spin. Jordan scowled. This wasn't in the script. Then came the boiling point. Jordan interrupted, slammed his mic. "Point of order!" he shouted, despite being the chairman himself. "The gentlelady is badgering the witness!" Crockett didn't blink. "I'm asking about qualifications, Mr. Chairman. That is our job." The room exhaled in disbelief. She had him spinning. Jordan lashed out again. "Maybe if you spent less time tweeting and more time reading the Constitution, you'd understand." Gasps. audible. The chamber froze. Personal attacks during hearings, off limits. But Jordan wanted her rattled, emotional, unhinged. Instead, she smiled. "Thank you for that feedback, Mr. Chairman. I'll take it under advisement. 30 more minutes. 6 interruptions, 4 accusations, 2 sneers. Still, Crockett didn't raise her voice. Not once. She just kept slicing witnesses apart. Then came the moment. 4th hour. Jordan's star witness faltered under Crockett's questions. Admitted his testimony was based on news articles and Twitter threads. Yes, Twitter threads. Jordan fumed. And then, the detonation. Crockett asked about dark money ties. Jordan erupted. "Enough!" he howled. The gavel slammed so hard, it echoed. "I will not let you destroy the reputation of honest Americans." He stood, pointed, shook with rage. "You're a freshman. You don't get to come in here and disrespect this process." Security leaned forward. Reporters couldn't type fast enough. This wasn't just a meltdown. It was a live, unfiltered implosion, and she? She waited, sipped water, neatly aligned her papers. Then, "Mr. Chairman," she said, her voice soft as silk. "Are you okay? Do you need a minute to collect yourself?" Kaboom! The silence was volcanic. That single line, like a scalpel through ego. Jordan looked stunned, like a man struck by lightning, and she wasn't done. "Because if you're done with your outburst," she continued, voice steady as glass, "I'd like to continue asking questions. That might actually help the American people." She flattened him, not by yelling, not by matching anger, but by standing so still it became power. Then came the closer. "Chairman, I've been in courtrooms where lives were on the line. I've faced prosecutors, hostile judges. I don't intimidate easily. So when you shout, when you interrupt, when you weaponize your position to silence me, I just have to wonder, is that really the best you've got?" You could feel it. The temperature, drop, the shift in gravity. Reporters gasped. Members covered their mouths to hide smirks. Phones exploded with notifications. Then she delivered the coup de grace. "Now, sir, about your testimony based on social media. Which accounts specifically do you rely on for your legal analysis?" End scene. Jordan slumped back, speechless. Defeated, irrelevant, Crockett continued, calm, composed, focused, the press gallery on fire. Just in, Jasmine Crockett ends Jim Jordan's career in 6 words. Breaking. Congress has a new queen. The most savage political takedown since Watergate. Jordan tried to save face. "We'll take a 15-minute recess," he mumbled, but the damage was done. The internet had already crowned its victor. And Jasmine Crockett? She stayed seated, calmly flipping pages, like nothing had happened at all. She looked like she'd just returned from a coffee break, not like she'd just dropped one of the most iconic political takedowns ever captured on C-SPAN. Jasmine Crockett didn't flinch, didn't raise her voice. Meanwhile, Jim Jordan stormed, out of the hearing room in a blur, trailed by frazzled aides already scrambling for damage control. But no press release could fix this. The moment was already out in the wild. And the internet? It was feasting. Within 30 minutes, "Jasmine destroys Jordan" was the top trend on Twitter. The clip of her surgical calm in the face of Jordan's full-volume meltdown crossed 100,000 views in the first half hour and was only climbing. But it wasn't just going viral. It was going historic. Commentators who normally couldn't agree on what day it was were suddenly aligned. Van Jones. "I've been in this game a long time. This is one for the books. Crockett just showed the nation how to dismantle a bully without breaking a sweat." Bill Kristol. "I rarely praise Democrats, but Jordan embarrassed himself today. Crockett's restraint and clarity, a masterclass in public service." Simone Sanders. "This is what happens when you send a real attorney to do a child's job." Memes came flying in. One viral image had Jordan mid-scream with the caption, "When you're used to steamrolling people and meet someone with a JD." Another featured Crockett's composed face and the text, "Are you okay? Do you need a minute?" Paired with clips of emotional meltdowns from reality TV to toddler tantrums. TikTok lit up. Thousands of remix videos were made using her calm tone over chaotic scenes, ranging from workplace blow-ups to family dinner fights. That single phrase, "Are you okay? Do you need a minute?" evolved into a cultural shorthand for calling out unhinged behavior with grace and power. On CNN, legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin broke it down like it was game tape. What Crockett did was classic courtroom technique, let the opponent implode. But the twist? Genuine concern. That flips the whole psychological dynamic. It was brilliant. Even Fox News was stuck in a bind. Their usual Jordan cheerleaders were awkwardly hedging. "Jim's a fighter," one anchor offered weakly. "But maybe this wasn't his best moment." Meanwhile, MSNBC went in hard. "What we saw was the difference between someone doing a job and someone doing performance art," a pundit declared. By the end of the day, the clip had passed 5 million views. Outlets that usually skipped committee hearings made it their headline story. International media jumped in with headlines like, "American lawmakers' poise goes viral worldwide." The engagement stats were off the charts. People weren't just watching. They were remixing, dissecting, and applying it to their own lives. Jordan's team tried the spin route. They issued a statement claiming he was defending the American people passionately. It flopped. By yelling at a calm woman asking questions, one Twitter user snapped, "Nice defense strategy, bro." Jordan made the rounds on conservative talk shows, calling Crockett's question disrespectful. Bad move. "You mean asking if you're okay is now disrespectful?" An interviewer challenged him live. His conservative media allies? Silent. They knew this wasn't a battle worth fighting. Meanwhile, Crockett handled the attention like a seasoned vet. Her first statement was all professionalism. "I'm here to legislate, not to shout. I'll always respond to intimidation, but I'd rather focus on the work. No gloating, no name-calling, just straight back to business." Progressive groups instantly saw the opportunity. She was dubbed a rising star. Democratic strategists flooded her inbox with support, donors lit up her fundraising platforms, and talk of her as a potential Senate candidate in Texas began quietly circulating. Cable shows fought for her. She gave just enough interviews to maintain momentum, but never lost focus on policy, oversight, and professionalism. Strategists, media experts, and campaign consultants all agreed. This wasn't a blip. It was a political realignment. For years, Jordan had played the role of GOP enforcer, shouting, interrupting, dominating headlines. Now, a freshman congresswoman had not only withstood his fury, she'd reversed it. One Democratic strategist put it plainly. Jordan's power was built on fear. Crockett didn't flinch. That changes everything. Republican operatives were worried. If Crockett could neutralize Jordan this easily, what did that say about their whole playbook? But this moment reached far beyond Washington. Workers across industries shared it, describing how they'd faced similar Jim Jordans in boardrooms and break rooms. HR trainers began using the clip as a case study. "This is how you deal with bullies," read one viral leadership article. "Not by yelling back, by staying calm and shifting the power dynamic." Business schools started referencing Crockett in conflict resolution modules. European outlets dissected the cultural difference between loud and poised leadership. The BBC aired a special, "The Art of Staying Cool Under Fire," featuring Crockett alongside leaders known for their calm. Even authoritarian state media tried to spin the clip as evidence of American chaos, only for their citizens to highlight how professionally Crockett handled the chaos. Polls followed. Jordan's numbers took a hit, especially among suburban moderates who found his behavior childish. Crockett's approval soared. She was suddenly one of the most in-demand Democratic speakers in the country. Back in Congress, things changed. Republicans toned it down. The message was clear. This stuff can go viral fast, and it can backfire harder than ever. The DNC quietly launched an internal training program, Staying Cool Under Fire. At first, it was optional. Then it got packed. Senior members started showing up. The training used the Jordan Crockett moment as its centerpiece. Frame-by-frame analysis showed how she flipped the exchange without ever raising her voice. Communication. Coaches broke it down. Ex-prosecutors taught body language and voice control. PR advisors taught how to look good in 15-second TikTok clips. Members learned to resist bait, deflect with class, and stick to facts. 3 golden rules emerged. Never match their volume. That gives them power. Let the camera show the contrast. Ask questions, not insults. It reframes aggression as instability. Stay on substance. Pivot back to facts. Let them melt down alone. Politicians reported feeling empowered. The new mantra became, let the meltdown speak for itself. Political historians were already calling it a watershed moment. The day the loudest person in the room lost the spotlight to someone with poise. Bullies only win when we play their game, wrote one analyst. Crockett flipped the script. The phrase, "Are you okay? Do you need a minute?" is now immortal. Not just a meme, but a reminder of what true control looks like under pressure. In an age of viral moments and weaponized video clips, Crockett showed the new way forward. Jim Jordan may not know it yet, but that hearing marked the beginning of the end for his intimidation playbook. And Jasmine Crockett? She didn't just win the moment. She redefined what power can look like in the social media era. Thanks for watching this breakdown of the moment that shook Congress and the internet. If you found this story as powerful as we did, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell us in the comments, what's your favorite way to shut down a bully? And remember, sometimes the most powerful clapback is a calm question.